Meriden is like a lot of old cities in Connecticut that are rotting from the inside out. You talked about some of the buildings being pulled down. Well, a lot of the structures were built turn of the century. That's the other century. And these require quite a bit of, and it was a mill town. People didn't have cars. There's hardly any yards. Everybody walked to work. They walked to the corner store and generally shop daily there. That's the kind of culture. The corner tavern they stopped by on the way home. The church was in the neighborhood. The schools, a couple of the religious schools have closed. St. Lawrence, I believe, and another one shut down, and the one in South Meriden shut down. But it's a changing thing, rotting from the inside out. The reason these towns were made is the railroad came through. There were factories. A lot of immigrants come to work in the factories. There was money to be made. There was jobs. But now things have changed. It's a whole different. The silver's gone. They revitalized downtown and pulled down the factories. They're doing a lot. You'll see that in Waterbury, what's happening. A lot of it is just being torn out. There's nothing else to do with it. And the money hasn't come to revitalize these cities in the proper way. Meriden has made a lot of mistakes. They capped the river right through downtown and caused flooding. They put Canberra Industries downtown. They've got flooded. The revitalization, the one they can claim that's actually had a good head in it is our flood control commissioner, whose name I forget now. But Alston, he's like a stalwart of the community that's led it through thick and thin. And but basically, it's going to survive. Most of the new development, as far as jobs, are on Research Parkway and a few other places. And now you have to bus the people out to there. So you must have mass transit. In Meriden, come the weekend, mass transit just about disappears. There's buses to New Britain, and then you've got to make all the connections all the way. They finally redid a bus to Middletown. I don't know how many times a day. I think it's not a full bus. But that's the type of thing it is. I know I've lived up the street here, and when I was in my 30s, I abandoned my car and got on a 10-speed. And Meriden, like Waterbury, keeps coming back to Waterbury. It's just a city on a hill, and that impinges upon its growth and utilization. I think it took me 4 months to be able to go from the railroad station up to the house on a 10-speed without getting off the seat. So that's in how good a shape you have to be. But a lot of people here are indigent population. The poorer population walks around town, which is healthy for them. And what else? Well, this is one of the institutions right in the background, Stop and Shop. We got one on each side of town. There used to be one in the center of town, but they closed that down too and pulled down that mall.
What would you do to improve the city if you were in charge?
Well, improve it. Here's some of the rhetoric which goes on. The jewels of the city. Hubbard Park is a jewel of the city, but that's already scarred by 691. It's taken away from the park. We just had issues of the other jewel of the city, which was sold off, was the golf course. And they floated a bond to do a new irrigation system for that. Now, a lot of people will argue, how many people play golf? You know, the utilization. They did the baseball fields all over town. Yeah, people need recreation, but they had to float more bonds for this. Where should the money be going? That's a very tough thing. I think that what they should have done is the town, you still have parochialism. The town should have bought up the recycling plant in Wallingford. They should have got together and as a consortium bought it and operate it, just like Wallingford has their own utility. We have a empty power plant up here, up on the hill, which has, again, just put an application in for to start operating as a peak power plant. There was land exchange and everything like that, but I think if it's that important, the city ought to do it. City government should do it. Just like healthcare, it was that important. Medicare is run by the government, and I think that's the way it should be. We don't want to sell our reservoirs out to private concerns in our water. I think that'd be totally foolish. But I think government has its place, and but however, in the city there is quite a bit of apathy. You'll go to a city council meeting, and there'll just be a handful of people, and most of them will only come because there is some issue they want to talk about. But I don't think there's that force behind it that there should be. Yeah, our largest part of the budget is personnel. That's the type of milieu we're in, and the salaries the educational department get, and the amount of people that are administrators. I think the top 6 payers in the town are administrators for the education department. I don't know about that. Is that the way it should be? We used to depend on the parochial schools quite a bit, which a few of them are still operating, and there was even the budget meeting. They built schools, but I don't see the environmental impact or the greenness of these schools. There should have been, here we're in an auditorium and it's all lit up. The hallways were lit up like a Christmas tree. I walked into the men's room and was almost blinded. And I made that comment at the budget meeting. But this impact of greenness is not thought that well. We had Lewis Avenue 10 years ago. They put up lighting which is aesthetically pleasing. They look like lampposts and everything, but the efficiency's not there. I don't know what part is missing here.